Hey, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby, and we are joined by, I got to do something with my hat. There we go. The one, the only, the beard, Mr. Brad Moore.
What's up, guys?
Brado.
How's it going?
What's up, dog?
Stuff.
Brad's got everything up. So welcome, you guys. We're going to talk to Brad about all the stuff that he's been doing. He's been doing some really amazing stuff. But I don't know if you heard, next week, Brad is moving to Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, I am.
Nashville, Tennessee. So before Brad ran out of town, I wanted to make sure we got him into the grid one more time. We're going to be talking about the freelance life, which is what Brad is going to be living. But you've been doing a lot of freelance work for a while.
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
A little bit here and there. So, because you've been shooting for different wire services, you've been shooting for different websites. And so recently he got to do something pretty cool. And those of you who read my blog might have seen his guest blog on it, which was awesome. But you were there for the reunion of the band Under Oath.
Correct.
So can you tell us a little bit? Yeah.
Well, over the past, so they 3 years ago called it quits and had absolutely no intention of ever touring again or making any new music or anything like that. And I was there for their final show and had shot them a couple times before. Knew one of the guys, kind of friends with him. Kind of vaguely knew the other guys a very little bit. But then since they broke up, I've actually become friends with all of them.
Well, of course.
So whenever I found out they were getting back together, I was like, let me photograph the process. Like, I want to see practice space. I want to see, rehearsals. I want to see the whole shebang, not just, your live show. Yeah. So being comfortable with me, they let me come into their practice space and shoot some stuff. And
yeah, but dude, you had access that was crazy for all of it.
Yeah, I had all access for the entire shows that I shot. So while I did not get to go on tour with them, they did. So I shot them a few times around here. Once at their practice space, which is basically just a storage facility. Then they did a secret show, which they announced 48 hours ahead of time at this little 400 capacity club down in Ybor City. And there were no pre-sale tickets or anything like that. You just showed up, got in line, and paid at the door. And that show was absolutely insane. Because these guys, once they got out on the road, their first show here was at a 2,000 capacity venue, so that sold out like that. And then they actually left from Florida and went out to play a festival in California where, I don't remember exactly how many, but I want to say 20,000 people maybe, something like that, some big festival. So I didn't get to go to that, but then I did catch up with them in Nashville. Went to visit family and friends and everything and hung out with them for a couple days. Then they came back and played a show in Orlando. So I shot, and then they had 2 days of tech rehearsals in between the secret show and their first show in St. Pete. So. And
I want to see some photos if you can show them, but we're starting to get some questions here. First, when Llama's Attack asks, I hope the topic is Brad's beard. How to light it? How to pose it, how to shoot it. Brad, we almost had a beard catastrophe.
We had a near tragedy last week.
Yeah, I got a text in the middle of the week, and I'm like, what? Tell us a little about this could have been really a life-changing thing. It could have been
I just was not paying attention, went to trim my beard, and normally this right here on my trimmer is an 8 setting, which is about halfway on the guard.
Luxurious, thick beard. Lustrous.
It was all the way down on 2, and I just went, oh my gosh. So I had this one streak just down the side of my face, just all the way down to 2, and was just like, holy crap, what did I just do? So I set the trimmer to 4, trimmed everything else, and then kind of did an in-between 2 and 3 and 4, whatever, and kind of trimmed so I didn't have to go all the way down to 2. And then I trimmed it again today, first time since then, and it's just long enough to be trimmed at 8. So
that was close.
Crisis averted, but it was close.
I was worried. When I saw that, I just, of course, burst into tears. Tom MM 2006 says, Brad's beard is good, in any light. All right, Brad, you'll head over to Video Control Room 1.
I am
We've
there.
changed our control room for the day.
I don't know if you want to see like all of it because I've got like 100 pictures from this thing and then 100 pictures from that thing. So like,
Well, I'd love to see. One of my favorite shots, I'll tell you all is at the very end. Them taking a bow on the last day.
Oh,
of the
okay,
final
yeah,
tour.
that's
one of my.
So I'll just quickly go through
part
these
of it
as
is
we're talking.
because he's just going to go through them as we're talking. Part of what I thought, I like that shot.
yeah, I like that shot a lot.
That's a really cool shot.
It's just him doing his vocal warm ups.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah.
And this is their practice space?
Yep, same space they've had for years apparently. Just a storage shed in the area. I won't give away the location because I don't want
Secret
anybody
location,
like
yes, of course.
showing up and stealing their crap
Yeah.
or crashing a
Dude, the
rehearsal.
drummer's playing Gretsch drums.
Yes. So Aaron is their drummer, Aaron Gillespie, and he is just an absolute beast of a drummer. He actually, right before they started practicing again, he just got off tour with Paramore.
So he was a drummer for Paramore?
Yeah, he was on tour with them. So it's funny because like these guys are friends with other musicians, like their families and stuff. And so like you see their road cases and some of them will say Under Oath, some of them like this one in the background right here says Amberlin because this guy Tim, he is married, his wife's sister is married to the drummer from Amberlin. And they're good buds. They actually have a coffee company together called King State Coffee. So you see like Amberlin and Under Oath and Paramore all kind of together because they're all just kind of somewhat related on some level.
So these are all shots from their rehearsal?
Yeah, just them practicing, just kind of getting things together. And so, yeah, I was just kind of... So Chris, it's funny because they were a band for a long, long time, and Chris was always overweight. And then whenever they called it quits, he started losing weight. And so people were giving him crap because it's like, oh, so you're going to be like on stage doing music videos in front of, doing photo shoots and all this stuff. And then you wait till after you're out from in front of the camera to lose weight. And so speaking of beast, he's also a beast. And this is one of my favorite shots too, just the road case there. There's a shot coming up here in a couple shots here. Let's see. So he actually showed up a little bit later than the rest of the guys.
How many days did they rehearse?
I don't know how many days they practiced. This was their last day of actual practice at this space. So
they're having a good time.
They're having a good time. It's another one of my favorites.
That was a good shot. Great expression. We talk a lot in the grid about when people take pictures of musicians and they're doing nothing, and that was a great example of that guy, emoting. He's emoting. That's right.
So just in general, my aesthetic is for anything that's like not a live show, I tend to go black and white, especially in this case.
So behind the scenes stuff.
So behind the scenes stuff is all black and white. There was one shot. Did I not? There was one shot where all of the guys are on like the left side of the space except Chris, because he had just gotten there from dinner and working out and stuff and had a protein shake and let one rip.
Shake.
No, he let one rip and like pushed all the other guys to the other side of the storage space. Anyway,
And you're going to show that story
I was
and tell
trying.
that.
So yeah.
Before we get to the color stuff, Diane's asking, why Nashville, Brad? You're from Knoxville. I don't know if people know that.
So I grew up in East Tennessee, about an hour outside of Knoxville. My parents are still there, and my brother and his wife and 2 kids are up in Kentucky. I have a sister as well. She's out in New Mexico, so moving to Tennessee isn't going to get me any closer to her, but I want to be as close as I can to more of my family so I can see them more often. And Nashville, if I'm going to make a go of a freelance career in kind of entertainment photography, Nashville's not a bad place to be. And I've got a good network of friends and fellow creatives that are already there. Have a lot of friends that have moved there from Tampa, musicians and stuff. So you remember Matt Hires?
Yeah, Matt, great guy.
His wife Rachel are up there, and they've got some friends that I've become friends with as well. So.
And Jeremy Cowart's in
Jeremy
Nashville.
Cowart's up there. My buddy Robbie Klein.
Dolly Parton. I'm just kidding. I don't.
She's not in it.
I was just picking random country stars.
And then
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and Nicole Kidman, and
Nicole Kidman lives in Nashville?
because of her husband, Keith Urban.
Oh, that's right, Keith Urban. Sorry, I'm like, who's her husband?
I was a little sad.
Tom Cruise?
I was a little sad when I saw the news that the show Nashville is being canceled off of ABC. So sad day for that. But Kim Doty, your book editor, she's a massive fan of the show, and she and I were talking, and she's like, "But there's all these petitions, and maybe it'll get picked up by CMT or Hulu or somebody."
Maybe.
So who knows? We'll see.
Those things don't usually work out. My all-time favorite series is gone, and it's not coming back.
Walking Dead. Walking Dead's not gone.
No, I love Walking Dead, but it was called Smash.
Oh, right.
I love that show. I was crazy about that show. Now it's gone. Okay, it was an NBC show. It got canceled last season. Anyway, so can we, before we go into these, I want to see the images, of course, from the shows and stuff. But can you tell us a little bit about Weld? So I know we talked about it a while back, maybe a few years ago. Brad and I were on the road doing the seminar tour, and we were in Dallas, Texas.
Correct.
And there is I don't know how to explain it.
It's a creative co-work space.
It's a creative co-work space. It's called Weld, W-E-L-D.
Yes.
And it's so kind of picture this. You walk in the door and it looks like a Starbucks. But then there are studios, like photography studios. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of just offices, and it looks like half ad agency, half Starbucks, half photo studio.
That's a lot of halves.
Half IKEA. It's like a really, really, really hip place to hang out and work. Maybe we can show some pictures of it. But they opened one in Nashville, and you're going to be, well, you know everybody at Weld, right? You know all the people behind Weld.
A good chunk of them. So the thing that I love about Weld is it was created by our buddy Austin Mann, who...
Austin Mann, baby.
Austin Mann. He's such a great guy. I love him to death.
I love him.
So he saw a need for creative freelancers. Most of them, you're kind of at a spot where you're either working out of a coffee shop, a Starbucks, local coffee shop, whatever, or you finally get to a point where you can afford to have your own office space. But there's not really a place in between for those people. So like if you're working out of a coffee shop, you want to have client meetings and stuff. And once you get to a certain level of client, it's a little embarrassing to say, "Hey, meet me at the Starbucks around the corner."
Right,
you got all the noise and other people and everything. So rather than trying to make a go of it on your own and trying to build up your own client base, which is doable. You got to hustle as a freelancer no matter what. But he wanted to create a space where freelancers could work together in community. He's a big believer in community. So he created Weld so that freelancers can have a spot where they can come in, have a place to work. They've got coffee. They've actually got a keg on tap.
Right. And you pay a monthly fee.
There's different levels of membership. There's a base membership that kind of gets you in the door. There's just tables out in kind of the big open space, and it's open seating. So you just kind of come in and take a seat wherever is open. And I like their headphone policy a lot. So like, especially for the people who are out in the open working, their headphone policy is, if you're not wearing headphones, you're completely approachable. Come talk to me, whatever. If you've got one on, one off, it's, I'm busy, but you can talk to me if you keep it quick. But both on is do not disturb mode. So
that's the most inexpensive way to handle that.
It's like, don't bother me. So they've got the base membership, which is just kind of open seating, or they've got the next tier up would be you have a reserved desk. So rather than having to fight for space or whatever, actually, I won't say you have to fight for space, but because they keep the members at a certain level. But you have a reserved desk. You can set up family pictures, whatever. You don't have to worry about my favorite spot's taken today or whatever. Or you can pay more and have your own office, which. So in Dallas, the space that they opened in was a photo studio that had gone out of business, and they just kind of came in and took over the space. And through the process of trial and error and figuring out what worked, what didn't work, what type of spaces they needed more of and less of, and just figuring all of that out, he was then able to take the concept and go into a completely empty warehouse space in Nashville about a year ago and build it out to spec. So he knows, okay, we have more members that need open seating, and we have way more people that want their own office space than we would have thought. And actually the studio that they moved into in Dallas had, I think it was 3 photo studios in it as well. Well, people weren't using the photo studios as much as he had assumed they were, or they would. So 2 of those photo studios became small business offices. So that's actually another tier of membership they have, is they have bigger rooms that are occupied by small businesses. So they have like a t-shirt company that works out of one office. They've got like a branding and media company that works out of another, and just different people. So yeah, he was able to go into Nashville and just build it out exactly what they needed. And so now the single offices are actually built out of shipping containers. So he has the shipping containers that he's put walls in, and they're movable walls. So you can buy, or you can rent out one office space, or if you want 2 office spaces, you can move the wall out and you've got 2 office spaces, or 3 or 4.
They're clever. I can you hit the Meet Weld, because I will say one of the things that's really cool. It's really cool space. I mean, it's not just space.
Well, Meet Weld is more of a kind of a community member.
I was hoping they were going to show
thing,
some pictures and
some of the companies that work out of there.
But it is a really, really cool. Like when you go there, you're like, it's a very hip space. It's like you could see why people would want to have their offices there, because it's pretty hip. But while he's looking for that, I got lots of questions coming in and comments here. So Brian G asked, Brad, is your move to Nashville based on the large music scene there?
It's based on that. It's based on the fact that I have the aforementioned network of friends and fellow freelancers up there, and Weld is a big part of it. But I've loved Nashville as a city for probably the better part of, so I grew up in East Tennessee, then I went to college in West Tennessee in Jackson, and spent a lot of time driving back and forth through Nashville, and would go there and visit, and just always loved the city.
Oh, it's a great town.
Always thought, basically from finishing college, like, okay, so after college I went to work for Joe McNally, then I came here. But even like while I was working with Joe, I always thought, okay, once I'm at a point where I'm going to do my own thing, I want to base it out of Nashville. So the time has come.
The time has come. So John Gleepter, hey John, up in Philly.
Yeah.
John's up there. So John, he says, Brad, are you still assisting at all or just freelancing?
Well, I'm actually still assisting this guy on his seminars, so I'm still doing that on a freelance basis, so both.
Yeah, but he had to blow me off last week. I did San Diego.
Yeah.
Dude, people were disappointed. Like, I thought Brad was going to be here. I'm like, I know.
And normally I would have been, but I had a freelance job come up that was
freelance gig.
Like most of the week, and just was a good, really, really good payday. So,
yeah, it was a good payday.
As a freelancer, you go where the money is. Let's see, Jock. A few tips on how to get an assistant, a second shooter, and be a valuable asset.
I think he can only give you that in the past, because I think now he'll be hiring assistants.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, the key is, as the biggest thing, as Joe told me whenever I worked for him, the reason that he hired me was because I had a good attitude. So if you have somebody who has a good attitude, you can teach them everything else, but you can't teach attitude. So that's the tip that I always give for hiring assistants. But
he's right though. I mean, it's like, well, and Brad, as you of course know, you can tell from knowing him here in the grid, he has a great attitude. But part of that, it makes a big difference is because you wind up in a lot of high stress situations.
Yeah.
You need someone that doesn't get rattled and that's like okay and cool with doing everything. If you get somebody that gets upset when you're upset and something's going wrong on the shoot, it goes bad fast.
Yeah. So somebody that basically, if you find somebody that you get along well with and that can pick up the technical stuff, the more that you work together, the more they'll learn, the more they'll be like another arm for you. You know, you have to ask for stuff to begin with, but then eventually, like, they'll just know your rhythm, your shooting style, and they'll be doing stuff before you even ask. So just finding somebody that you can vibe with and get along well with, and learn the rest.
And make sure it's a photographer when you hire an assistant.
Because you want somebody who knows the difference between, say a softbox and an umbrella.
Well, also, you want, like, there'll be many, many times we'll be on a shoot and Brad would come over and whisper, you left the lens cap on. The reason why all those shots are black is you left the lens cap. Maybe you should turn on the camera. There's a lot of times, but there's a lot of times where Brad would tell me, you've spent too long on this. You need to change the lights. Let's move on. Because sometimes you're all focused on one thing, and it's good to have someone that understands, that's watching the time, that's looking out for things. Hey, you
get so sucked into something, you lose track of time. You don't realize that you've shot 100 frames of the same exact thing.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna take a short break here, but I just want to read Anonymous's. I guess that they're responding to why you moved to Nashville. They said that explains everything. Brad's beer rocks because it has Southern charm.
It's true.
East Tennessee, West Tennessee. Tell me there's not a song there. We're going to take a short break. We're taking your questions live, and I can't wait to. Hyper Johan is here, so stick around. We'll be right back with Brad Moore live on the grid. Don't go away. Hyper.
Over the course of the last couple of years, Adobe has been consistently releasing and updating a series of free mobile apps. They run on the iPhone and the iPad, and in most cases, we've already moved them to Android. I'm really excited to show you just a little bit of what we're doing on the phone, the tablet, and the desktop. We're going to look at how these applications communicate with each other, how they communicate with the cloud, and how they're deeply integrated with the web and the desktop. You're going to learn all sorts of new things about creating content, editing it, and of course, accessing the files that you already have. I'm really excited to show you just some of what we're doing. Let's go ahead and get started.
In a world where the next hotshot is out of reach, one brand stands alone to let you take it. Meet Max. June 1st. Kickstarter only. 30 days. Don't miss it.
Hey guys, I'm Adam Macias, and I am a music photographer. The photography industry is constantly changing, so I'm going to teach you about social media, marketing, branding, and all the tools you need to be an artist today. So come check out my brand new class, only on kelby1.com.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, so that trailer we were just watching from Adam Macias, even if you're not a concert photographer, because it looks like it's a very concert photography thing, it's a business class.
Yeah, it's like a branding class.
It's a branding class, and let me tell you what that guy has been. I was just talking to Brad about it. What that guy has been able to do, just creating his own brand, where like he's taking pictures of stars, and he just said, "I'm going to make myself a star."
Yeah.
And it's the most awesome thing. So even if you have no interest in concert photography at all, go watch his class. It's a
you can get ideas.
Social media / business class, even though his particular genre is concert photography. Yeah. It's really much broader than that. Hey, speaking of classes, tomorrow, every Thursday is new class day. So tomorrow we have class from Moose Peterson, and it's all on post-processing aviation photography. So he's an aviation photographer, of course, and he's doing a whole thing on how he post-processes planes. He's using historical planes, and so warbirds. He's a warbird fan, you guys probably know, and he shares some of his insider tips. Well, hopefully later we'll be able to show you the trailer. We didn't show the trailer yet, did we? No.
Actually, if they go to Kelby 1, it's already up.
Oh, the class is already up? Yeah, we're putting them up Wednesday night now for a whole bunch of reasons. But the official day is tomorrow, so, but
if you want a sneak peek.
If you want a sneak peek, it's already up there. So, okay, yeah, when we take the next commercial, we'll play the trailer. But when you see, you can watch the trailer. Anyway, so we got some comments. Hyper Johan, it's hybrid. It's supposed to be hybrid Johan. I think Johan's playing off the Hybrid Boys from over in the UK. It says, Brad, what experience from working with Joe and Scott do you take with you now doing your freelance work?
That's a very, very big question.
He learned a lot about love.
All about love.
A lot about love.
What didn't I learn that I'm not taking with me? I mean, there's so much. I mean, I worked with Joe for 2 years. I worked with Scott for 7.5 years. I mean, you pick up everything that they do. So from Joe, just like I became a very experienced traveler, so that helps a lot. I know that I can't take knives on a plane.
That's a good one all the way around.
I know to keep up with my passport whenever I'm traveling.
That's a good point.
I know not to hit my head on tractor trailers anymore.
Wow.
Things like that. And then just from Joe in general, like he's a master. So like just all of the shooting, all of the lighting, all of the working with subjects, the dealing with clients. And definitely I learned just as much from his studio manager, Lynn, on kind of the business side of things, on invoicing and things, ways to charge for things and just everything. I mean, just a lot. And then working with Scott, I saw even more business stuff. I saw the post-processing side of things. I saw a different style of shooting and dealing with subjects, and even more traveling and teaching and gosh, everything. I mean, there's just a lot.
Well, I can tell you that when Brad first walked in the door, he'd already had a lot of experience, because 2 years with Joe is like 10 years with anybody else.
Well, especially when you live in his basement.
Yeah, he was living there.
Not like a dungeon basement, like a nice finished out.
No, it was nice.
Bedroom apartment kind of thing.
It wasn't concrete block and stuff, and chains and all.
Well, there were whips and chains.
So some more questions. John Gleeper asked. Oh well, John Gleeper said for something very nice. Let's see. I'm available. He says I'm available to assist when you're in Philly.
Well, thank you,
John's
John.
a great guy. So JMHS Photo. Could someone ask Scott if he plans on doing more of the old school 1-hour tutorials on Photoshop? Hey, okay. So is 2 hours okay? Because I think next week, I've got a brand new class. It's all Photoshop. All right. And I haven't told anybody about it yet. I can tell you guys. So I did a class, and I took 10 images, raw, straight out of the camera, and just went through everything I had to do to get to the finished product. And it's a long class. It's over 2 hours long, I believe. And I do everything. It's like, if you really want to get deep into Photoshop, I say everything step by step, but it's not for rank beginners. I couldn't tell a beginner, start with this class. This is for someone who kind of knows their way around Photoshop, but I go into so many rabbit holes you can't believe, and we take images from raw all the way to the end, and I do whatever we have to do to get there. I don't care what it is, whatever we have to remove stuff and relight stuff and fix stuff and cheat and do illegal things, whatever it is, I take you all the way through it. I'm so excited about this class. It came out so much better than I envisioned that it would. So I'm really excited. It's all just straight up Photoshop, no Lightroom or anything like that. It's just a ton of Photoshop, and I think it'll be out next week. What do you think, Jen? Next week, maybe? Yeah. So next week. And so I'm very excited about it. Really cool class. It's called From Flat to Fabulous in Photoshop. So that's so to answer your question, oh man, I'm all over it. All right, let's see. Oh man, people are jumping up to help you here. TK Photog says, Brad, dude, I said it that's how I imagined him saying it. I'd totally drive to Nashville if you need an assistant or a second. Just let me know, only 2 hours away.
Great. Where are you at, TK Photog?
Yeah, let us know where you're at, TK. And 2 hours away from Nashville, so it could be
Kentucky, could be Chattanooga, could be Knoxville,
it could be one of the Kentucky headhunters.
West Tennessee somewhere. Yeah.
All right, so Anonymous 26681, which is kind of an odd name, says, but how do you start assisting without experience?
So my advice would be, whatever type of photography you want to do. Sorry, there's like a bug flying around. Whatever type of photography you want to do, find photographers who are doing that work and doing it well that you want to learn from. Then reach out to them and say, hey, I don't have any experience, but I would love to learn. If there's anything I can ever do on a shoot, around your studio, around your office, whatever, I would like to be involved in any way that you would allow me to be involved. And you're going to get no's, but you might get a yes. So
Now-
once you get a yes and you get that and you go in, then you start to have experience. And they need, depending on the type of shooting, they might need a second or third or fourth assistant on a shoot, but don't have a budget for it. Well, you're learning. You're observing. You're not really doing a whole lot of work, but you're learning, and you're getting them a roll of gaffer's tape or whatever. Then as you work your way up and get more and more experience, then eventually you'll be to the point where, okay, their first assistant isn't available one day. You can do the job that they need you to do. They'll hire you for that.
So that's what I was going to bring up, Brad,
Yeah.
was there's a big difference between a first assistant, a second assistant, and a third assistant.
Exactly.
So Brad is a first assistant, and so Brad would hire what you're probably talking about, which is Brad would hire basically a second assistant or a third assistant on a set is not going to be asked to do all kinds of crazy lighting stuff. They're going to be, can you put those sandbags on that? It's a very, you're moving a lot of stuff, you're moving gear.
It's stuff that's important and needs to be done.
Right.
But it's not, you're not working directly with the photographer.
Yeah.
Usually the first assistant is telling you what to do, and the photographer has a point person, which is the first assistant, and then that first assistant divvies up the work to the rest of the assistants.
Right.
And does their own work.
So like if we were doing a big production, like we were out in the desert doing some shoots and different things, Brad would hire, I think we had 2 assistants out there besides Brad and some of our crew as well. Brad would direct those assistants. I would meet them at the very beginning. Oh, you're Bob. Hi. I really didn't have anything to do with those assistants again. But Brad needed a lot of equipment moved. He would need, and let's say in the middle of the shoot, you need lunch. You need anything. Someone's got to get it. The first assistant can't go get lunch. Yeah. Like we're shooting, we're doing stuff. So you send out the second assistant. The second assistant gets coffee. They get breakfast in the morning. I mean, it's second assistants do everything. But once you, like you really said it, once you start doing that and getting in there, one day you'll wind up being able to be the first assistant, but the first assistant has to understand photography. That's someone that they have to be like a pretty competent photographer. They're never going to hand you the camera and say, take the shot. So you don't have to worry about, oh my God, now what do I do? But you need to know how to fix stuff a lot.
On a bigger shoot, like a bigger production, the photographer is more like a director. It's their vision, it's their, they're running the show, and their first assistant is like, their right-hand person. So they're communicating to them what they want done, and then that direction goes out to the right people that make it actually happen.
Yeah, for example, Brad and I would meet, if we're going to do a large-scale shoot, we would meet and say, okay, well, what are we going to need? What kind of lights do you think we're going to need? And then Brad would find the models. He would hire hair, hire makeup, get permits if necessary, figure out what time. He'd send out a call sheet to everybody involved to make sure the models know, hair knows, makeup knows, the licenses are done. There's a lot to producing a large-scale shoot. Yeah. And included in that, Brad would go, hey, I'm going to need 2 assistants to do this job. And so I think you would be, I could use anybody, So you could literally have, like for example, we have Ashley. It's Ashley, right? Yeah. We have Ashley here from Australia. You're vacationing? Yeah. In Orlando or something? Yeah. All right. And so he has to come over to do the shoot today. Well, if I needed to do a shoot, we could grab Ashley and do the shoot, no problem, because Brad would be doing, the hooking up the lights, checking and troubleshooting, a lot of troubleshooting and stuff. And he'd be like, hey, Ashley, can you grab this stand? Can you move that light stand over there? Help me with the backdrop. He would need, so anybody can kind of step in and be a second or third assistant.
And you're talking about all the other stuff that you were talking about with the pre-production, with all of the planning of everything. I was eternally grateful whenever we actually hired a full-time producer in Jen Coffin.
Oh, Jen's awesome, yeah.
And was able to
took over
like offload a lot of that work to her, and she was a big help. So
she was a big help. Let's see.
So TK Photography is in Chattanooga. Kind of figured.
Yeah, scroll back up to the TK Photography is in Chattanooga.
Tom Tabakan says congratulations and good luck. Thank you, Tom.
Hyper Johan says, sorry, Brad, that was a big question. Big question. So Scott, to reverse the question, what did you learn from Brad as an assistant? Beard grooming was a big thing. I thought about growing a beard. I saw his and I said, I'll never get a full glorious beard. No, what I learned about from Brad was, number one is how important that attitude is. especially when things get sticky. And we would be on shoots and stuff would just go wrong. Sometimes it was just we're trying new stuff. And I learned how important it is to have an assistant that, number one, doesn't get rattled. Not
that I didn't have my off days, but
yeah, I mean, we all have our off days, but generally he didn't get rattled.
Yeah.
Like something would go wrong, and he'd be like, "Okay, don't worry, I got it," or whatever. You need somebody that can troubleshoot. That winds up being a big thing. But number three, I said something really important that I would look for would be someone who can discreetly let you know when you're doing something wrong. And sometimes I would make a mistake, or I would be going, why am I seeing a gradient across the bottom of my screen? I know exactly what it is. It means my shutter speed's gotten too high. But sometimes in the middle of it, when you have 8 people on the set, you just don't. I'm like, why am I getting this gradient? And Brad would walk over and go, shutter speed. Check your shutter speed. Oh, my shutter speed. Because you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of a whole room full of people and look incompetent, even though you're actually being incompetent. But
or even, I remember we were doing the motocross shoot that ended up being the cover of one of your books.
Yeah.
And you're trying to shoot the motorcycles as they were coming around the curve, and for some reason you didn't realize what you were doing, but for some reason it just wasn't working right.
Oh yeah.
With the framing or something, the timing of something. And as I was watching you, I don't remember what it was because it was probably 3 years ago, but I saw you were doing something as they were coming around and you didn't realize you were doing it, and I was like, oh. So I told you, I was like, hey, next time don't do this thing.
Yeah.
And it should work. And you're like, oh my gosh, that fixed it.
That type of stuff is really invaluable.
Because you don't always see what you're doing, so having somebody outside of you to watch and go, oh, they're hitting the thing, and they don't realize they're hitting the thing.
And there was a lot of that. There was a lot of those times where I'm just not thinking, or you get nervous. I mean, especially when you're spending a lot of money. When you're spending a lot of money and you've got a lot of money on the line and you got all this stuff, when something starts to go wrong, you don't always think really clearly. And sometimes somebody's, that has to know what's going on. And Brad's a good photographer in his own right, so it wasn't like, it's like you have another pro there on the set. That's the difference. And so I would say what I learned was it is really important to have the right attitude, the right temperament. And this is someone you're going to spend a lot of time with. You got to work with as a team, and especially now we're on the road together. We've been on the road together a lot. We've been done shoots on the road. Sometimes we'll do a seminar and do shoots at the seminar. When we're in that town and stuff afterwards, before whatever. So you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. It needs to be somebody that you get along with well, and that you trust, and that has your best interest at heart. And that's one of the weird things. And I would just say this in general is, I remember I'm going back to my music days here. So this is a long time ago, and I didn't get it when the guy told me, but I was hired to play in a country band. That's right. I was a piano player in a country band. Anyway, I was hired behind this guy. He had been a Nashville star. And I remember him calling the band together, and he said, your job as my backup band is to make me look good. And we were like, but I don't want you to look good. I don't want to look good. I was like 19 years old or something, and I didn't get it. Now I look back and I go, oh crap, my job was to make him look good. And so I think it's an important for like Brad would never shoot at a job that I was doing unless I said, hey, can you take production pictures? But I've been on situations with assistants where they want to shoot too. Like they basically, this is our shoot and you shoot some, Scott, and then I'll shoot. And that doesn't work. The crew that's behind you has to be helping the shoot be a success for you. And so that's another thing. If you get somebody who's doing the same style of photography and the same thing you're doing, it's going to be hard for them to assist. They'll do it for a while, but eventually they're going to be like, can I shoot today? And it's not that you're being mean, but that's not their job. Their job is to help you, support you, and help you make great photos. So it's a different mindset of understanding the kind of person you need to work with you. Jock's Photo asks Brad, at what point does an assistant feel ready to move on with what he's learned, and how does the boss take that?
Well, I'll let you answer the second part.
Well, you start with the how does this feel?
It's different for everybody. For me, honestly, I'll be completely honest. Whenever I first moved here to work with Scott, I thought, okay, I worked with Joe for a couple years. I'll work with Scott for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, and then move on. That was 7.5 years ago.
It went quick.
The time has come, you know. But I mean, for me, I got here and enjoyed working with Scott a lot, and kind of got comfortable and enjoyed the steady paycheck and everything, and didn't move on until now. And now I'm taking that leap and hoping everything works out. You know, the freelance life is not a secure one. It's one where you're wondering where your next paycheck's going to come from, and when the phone's going to ring, or when that you're going to get another ding in your inbox going, "Hey, are you available for a shoot?" So whenever you're ready to take that leap, if you think you're skilled enough and knowledgeable enough to to jump into the circus that is the freelance lifestyle, then whenever you feel like doing that, that's when you go.
All right, and for my part of it, you know, I'm sad to see Brad go. I'm sad to see, I still get to work with him. We're still on tour and stuff. But of course, you know, I love Brad. Brad and I have been together for 7.5 years. I feel like he's my little brother, you know, and we've been through so much in 7.5 years. So it's just, I'm sad. I will miss him. I would have kept Brad for 100 years. So, but it unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But, you know, it's from my side of it, you know, he's like the best assistant in the world. I don't know who that I could get. And I've seen a lot of other people have good assistants, but Brad really fits my style. And we travel really well together, which is a tough thing. And we travel all around the world. And so we travel well together, and he knows me, and, you know, and so stuff like that. So that kind of, for me.
I know when he's in a good mood, when he's in a bad mood.
Yeah,
don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear. I know that when Brad's hungry, don't even talk to Brad. Get Brad food as quickly as possible. He gets hangry, and he just needs a Snickers. Yes. All he needs is Snickers. All right. Hey, Hybrid Peter says, tell Brad I'll fly from London to assist him. But
not right now. Not until you grow the beard back.
Yeah, dude. So Hybrid
Scott
Peter.
showed me the picture.
It was shocking. I was in a meeting, and I see on my phone, on my Apple Watch, boom, there was a picture of Peter with a
mustache.
handlebar mustache and a slightly trimmed beard, and we all freaked out. Hey, we're gonna take a short break. We have lots of comments. Thanks for everybody's is really chiming in here. This is awesome. So we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, you're gonna get to see Moose's trailer, right? Moose's trailer. All right, you're gonna get to see Moose's trailer, and that's gonna be a great class.
I found some iPhone pictures that I took around Weld in Nashville when I was there at New Year's. So.
Good. I haven't seen these yet.
Those.
We're going to see those. Here's what we got left, because we only like 15 minutes left. Here's what we got left. We're going to look at the Weld pictures. We got to see your color pictures.
We'll answer stuff here.
Are you going to show them the picture that I like?
Yes.
Okay.
We will quickly go through pictures without stopping too much.
All right. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Watch the Moose thing with Brad the Beard. Here's the beard.
Hi folks, Moose Peterson here for Kelby One. Now, I've been very fortunate for the last 6 years to get involved in aviation photography. I mean, some of the things we're going to talk about, some of the basics of going into Adobe Camera Raw and looking at basic settings that you need. And then perhaps taking some of those basic settings and expanding them to bring out what you can see with your amazing vision, finishing that photograph to bring out that story, to understand what the background is, the stage we're setting for the aircraft, and the aircraft itself. And there's certain little tricks that I have to make the aircraft come alive. So come along, it's going to be a great class. I know you're going to learn a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Create your own space at squarespace.com.
You want to take your design skills to the next level. You want to learn how to build a winning portfolio. You want hands-on training with live models. You want to mingle with the top professionals of photography and design. You want 3 days of Las Vegas energy and excitement. That's why you're going to Photoshop World in Vegas.
Hey, we're back. Scott here with Brad. Now we don't have much time, so we're going to blast through a bunch of things. So we, for the first time, and we didn't realize it till just now, broadcast the grid. We're broadcasting this show live straight to my Facebook feed, and there's comments there. Dion Cypress says, do it, Brad. If you ever visit Manchester, UK, I'm happy to assist.
Great.
And would take you for a tour of Manny.
Very nice.
Which we assume is a
Manchester.
shortcut for a slang for Manchester. All right. And then David Crook says, live the dream. Trish Root says, good luck for the future, Brad. Anyway, you can watch this live over at facebook.com/skelby. So SKELBY. I'm going to read you a bunch of questions. We're going to look at hey, well, let's show Weld first. This is
all right. So these are just
shots.
iPhone shots I took whenever I was there last. Oh, I guess you should probably AirPlay.
AirPlay. Yeah, let's go to
two.
Control room.
You got me, Meredith? All right.
Boom.
So yeah, these are completely unedited. But when you walk in, this is kind of what you see. This is the open seating area, the tables on either side there. And then in the back, what you see is one of the shipping containers, but this is one that they turned into their kitchen kind of break room area. It's got all sorts of fun stuff. And then all of the tabletops, if you look here, you see how kind of it's reflective. These are all marker boards. And then in the middle, we've got power strips for everybody.
Oh, look at that. I love power strips.
So this is the back side of one of the shipping containers with the offices. This is the front side. So,
dude, those are cool.
The fourth office in this one is actually storage space, and it just kind of hangs out over the parking lot a little bit. But yeah, so each office has its own decor and everything. And then you can see here, these are the walls that kind of can slide out.
This, this kind of reminds me of, there are a bunch of hair salons that do this now.
Okay.
So it's like a big, and there's a chain of them, and I can't think of the name, but they have like 20 stylists, and you get a space, and you get to design it your way and all. And
Cool.
and like when you walk in, it's real cool and hip, and then it's a bunch of little offices like that with glass fronts and kind of hip looking, and it's kind of like
cool.
That. It's
So
not as open as this, of course, because of the.
So this, they were still in the process of building out. These are phone booths or foam booths.
Oh.
So if you need to take a call, you step in here.
like a private call.
Yeah. So because you don't want to be out in the open space talking over everybody.
Right. No.
So yeah, it just gives you a spot to go and take a phone call. This is a very crooked picture, but it's one of their meeting rooms. So like if they'll have a member meeting, or you need to have a little conference or something, whatever, you go in there. Again, it's got the power strip in the middle and TV and stuff. This is actually, they have a bunch of people that work out of there that do podcasting and interviews and stuff. So this is actually a recording booth for podcasters.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's even got a little air conditioning unit here, so you don't get in there and burn up. These were locked. I was there on a Saturday.
Keep the horses in there?
So these are the small business offices. So these doors slide back, and there's a whole big space in here just for one business, and then another one over here. And they've got a few of those. This is just a standing desk if you want to stand. That's the kegerator. And then you've got pour over coffee from Crema Coffee here at the break room. So that's it. So that's
nice. All right, we got a bunch of questions and comments. Let's start at the top. We're just going to rip through them. Brad, you get 10 seconds to ask each one.
To ask or answer?
Or to answer. Here we go. Scroll all the way up to the top. All right. Some of these are just comments. They're not questions, so you don't even have to say anything. JMD Photography, I could fly in on my off days. I'm chomping at the bit for more experience. Brad's going to have more assistants. You're not going to have to look anywhere. Justin F. asks,
follow me on Twitter, and if I need an assistant, I will just tweet, need an assistant, who's available?
There you go. Justin F. asks, asking if they need help feels awkward. How do you get past that?
I'm assuming what Justin is talking about is just like cold calling photographers that you want to work with.
Oh, okay.
You just got to do it. Just do it. There's no, like, you just have to say, hey, I'm interested in what you do. I want to do it as well someday. Can I help?
You know what? What if they went, a lot of towns have meetup groups or flash groups or,
Yeah, but I don't think that you're going to see a lot of the pros there.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Honestly, it's mostly going to be more amateur
Stephen
people.
Getz, I think this is, if I'm pronouncing it right, but I could be wrong.
Getz.
Gotts, could be Stephen Gotts. Brad could teach seminars out on the road, I imagine. Teach people how to talk to assistants, how to hire them, and how to be one. True that.
Not a bad idea. Maybe I'll look into that.
Maggie in Arizona. Brad, you'll do great. I have no doubt that you have mad skills and you have great references as well.
That I do. Thank you, Maggie.
Anonymous 26681 says, thanks, Brad. Do you think some of these folks would get deterred if I tell them I have a portfolio, or should I not show my portfolio?
I'm guessing they're also talking about like kind of the cold calling thing, like calling up photographers.
Yeah, I think that if you say, "Hey, I want to be your assistant, but look at the work I'm doing. Here's my portfolio." I think there'd be some photographers that would be like, "Yeah, I don't want someone that's trying to build their brand. I want someone that's trying to help me."
It could
build
go
my
either
brand.
way, honestly. I could see it. I could see that, but I could also, I would say, just approach them, see if they need help. And then if they ask to see some of your work, you can show them.
Yeah.
But don't just be like, hey, I'm trying to do this. And then because they could also look at your work and go, this person's terrible. I don't want them to work with me.
Yeah. But also, too, I think if they were doing something that was competitive to what you're doing. So let's just say that I'm a sports photographer and I want to hire a sports photography assistant. You know, you don't want someone who's trying to, kind of weasel their way into that same thing. I don't know. It's just I can see some photographers get weird about that. JMD Photography, Brad, what's your Twitter handle?
So if you switch back over to my screen, my Twitter handle is the same as my website, Be More Visuals. So,
alrighty,
and you can just click the Twitter thing. And
JMD Photography says it seems like a wealth of information, and he's seen a lot. Brad's seen it all.
I have seen it all.
And Anonymous 6969 says, this is cute. I hope Brad Moore finds his own Brad Moore. That's nice.
Thanks.
And Bressler MI says, or Bressler Me, as a photographer looking to hire an occasional assistant, any tips on training them or how to use gear, how to go about a busy, hectic shoot?
Don't delete that yet. If you're looking for an occasional, see, that's the thing is like, the goal for an assistant is you want to have them on repeatedly so that they continue to learn how to work with you. Because if you're just hiring somebody once or twice and then never hiring them again, which if they're not a good assistant, don't keep hiring them. But they have to keep learning so they can be a good assistant. And if you're going to hire them more than once, you want to also train them, probably not on the shoot, like get them to come to your studio or wherever you work and show them the gear ahead of time so that if they do have any questions, they can ask you when you're not working in front of a client.
Alrighty, let's see. I think this one's to me because I saw this tweet on my Twitter. They mentioned about me doing a class on shooting guitars. Now you mean photographing them, I imagine. Have you thought any more about that? Would love to see it. It wouldn't be like a class because I don't know. It doesn't take that long to shoot guitars.
It'd be a tutorial.
It'd be a tutorial. Brad and I have shot quite a few guitars. Brad's pretty good at shooting guitars because sometimes when I would sell one on Reverb, I'd bring it in and go, "Can you shoot this for me?" And Brad would give me a Dropbox of 14 photos, and all the guitars sold quickly. Do you know why guitars sell? Because the photos are good. It's really, really important. Stephen Goetz says, "I have a beard. If you come to San Francisco, Brad,
Great.
I will assist for you." There you go. Hybrid Peter says you'll love the handlebar. Just 3 more. Brad, is concert photography going to stay your main focus in photography? From Hyper Johan.
I will continue shooting concerts, whether or not that will be my main focus, I don't know. Everything is kind of up in the air right now. We'll see. I will shoot whatever pays the bills.
Ed Lewis says, the latest class for Moose on landscape photography is excellent. Yes, it is. I got to see a little of that when he was taping it, and I was like, dang. And last comment for the day, DH Photo says, the relationship between photographer and assistant is more mentor and friend, not employer-employee. So when it's time to part ways, it should be as friends and with pride in what you guys have done together.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Amen. All right. Well, a bunch of our crew from here at Kelby One have all streamed into the studio. We're not going to bring everybody on the set because this is a very small set.
Very tiny set,
but
yes.
they all wanted to come say goodbye to Brad because he's moving to Nashville, stinking Nashville. Anyway, so look, everybody's here.
Hi,
Brad.
everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Yay.
I feel very loved right now.
Feel the love, baby. All right. Well, we have run out of time. Now, we were supposed to have a book to give away today.
Right here.
Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it.
Kim Doty brought this book over and said that we should give this one away because this was about as close as we got to having a co-authored book together because I have so many pictures in this book.
Yeah, so Brad had to take behind-the-scenes pictures of
Between gear pictures,
every
behind-the-scenes
piece of gear.
shots, overhead shots.
He had to rig a camera in the roof of the studio, right? And so there's a million of Brad's shots in here. So this is the one we're going to give away. We're going to have Brad sign it too. So we'll both sign it. We're going to give that away. To enter the contest, go to kelby1.com/webcast-contest, the perfect URL. And just mention that you're in the grid. Just give us your name and a credit card. No, just kidding. Just give us your name. Hit send. That's Meredith circling the send there for you. And we'll pick a winner and we'll send this to you. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. We'll send it to you. It'll never get there, but it will still send it. All right. Well, Brad, of course, we all wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
We know that you're going to crush it in Nashville. Can we wrap up with seeing your color images from?
I was going to say we can. Do you just want to see the shots from the last show or the secret show or what?
Whichever one you want. Show whatever you like.
Well, let's just quickly go through the secret show. So this was the small show. I started off in the crowd and realized that was a mistake and quickly got out of the crowd because I didn't want to get crushed or break a camera.
This was the secret one?
Yeah, this was the
wow,
secret
it
one.
was crazy.
So, like, these guys, like I said, their last show of the tour was at Hard Rock Live in Orlando, and they sold it out. So, this is a 400-person venue. Love Lightroom as it forms the previews. So, I mean, no barricade or anything. People are just up on stage. It was nuts. These are my buddies Nate and Nate, actually, crowd surfing.
Oh, I love that shot. Can you go back one? Dude, that's an awesome shot. How did you get this shot?
I walked out on stage and held the camera up in the air and shot a bunch of shots and hoped they were in focus.
That's a great shot.
And, of course, the guys are kind of messing with it.
Yeah, because when do you ever get to do that? You don't get to go on stage with a band. And
Nope.
Yeah, that was good. You got an incredible opportunity there. Oh, that's a good shot. Ooh, that's even better.
This guy that's my buddy Reed. So Reed actually plays drums for the band Say Anything, and when we were in Portland, I got to go hang out with him and shoot his show a little bit too.
Look at you. Look at you, Brad.
Love this guy right here. He's so intense. So yeah, it was an insane show. I like this because he's just so happy. So that's that from that. And then we'll just jump ahead. If you want to see more, go to scottkelby.com, look for my guest blogs. And I did 2 guest blogs, one that showed like kind of the rehearsals and practices and secret show, and then another one that showed the shows that I shot.
Ooh.
That?
I like that shot.
Because you're a drummer.
Okay.
So this is a couple of the wives and some of the kids of the band.
So these are black and white because these are behind the scenes.
Right. Just very quickly. These are not the exciting shots. These are just kind of like the VIP meet and greet. And then this is in the dressing room with a bunch of the friends and family and stuff. And then him hanging with his daughters before he takes the stage. This kid stole the show though. He was awesome.
Oh yeah.
The band.
Oh, adorable.
Taking the
Love
elevator up to the
shades.
stage.
That's a cool.
Goofing off.
This is cool. That was cool. The elevator shots?
Yep. And then just getting ready. Just getting pumped up. Everybody in. And then running out on stage. And then I liked this stage because there was a lot of space to move around without really being
Oh, I love all
too
the
noticed.
balcony shots.
It's JJ, one of the techs. I just like that because it's just feet up in the air. So this is our buddy Cutter. He doesn't get to get out of the house much, but he loves like heavy metal music. So for him to come see them and be able to be stage side was awesome.
Ooh, I like that shot.
So you can see the size difference in venue from the secret show to this.
Oh yeah, dude, I like that shot a lot. Ooh.
And there's a bunch of these shots like this, and I just couldn't really pick a favorite, so I edited all of them. That might be my favorite.
That's a good. That's good. The color and the contrast and all that was terrific.
So then going up top, shooting wide. That's probably my favorite from up top. Yeah.
Telly. They're very sweaty.
They are.
Is it just me? Or are they very sweaty?
I like that shot. So this is whenever they ask everybody to take their phones out and turn the lights on, or lighters, or whatever they got.
Does their sweat ever fly and hit you?
Yeah.
Do you ever eat their sweat?
No. Actually, in Nashville, I was
shooting a bird? That was inappropriate.
No, 2 fingers.
Oh, 2 fingers?
See
Okay.
right there?
What's he doing?
Just kind of a...
Here, kitty, kitty.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys, sing with me kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But no, so I was shooting in Nashville, and the stage was a lot lower. And I was actually shooting the drummer, and Spencer, like, neither of us was paying attention. He actually ran into me as I was shooting.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I like that one.
So this is not an official announcement by any means, because it's still in discussion and whatnot. But Tim here, I've been talking to him and the guy that designed all of their stuff for the tour, and we're hoping to make a photo book to release by Christmas.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So that might be in the works. We'll see.
While you're looking through those, Ed Lewis says, best of everything, Brad. Ed Photography, wish you all the best, Brad. Until next time.
Yeah, so these girls zonked out hard.
Oh, man. Nameless Cat says, I don't know you, but you seem like a great guy. He is.
Thank you, Nameless Cat.
Jock's Photo, best of luck. Rock on, Brado.
I like this one because he spotted me shooting and just kind of gave me a little grin.
Oh, that's cute. Dude, you got some great shots.
I normally don't edit this many shots from a show, but I just couldn't bring myself to edit it down
Well, this was
anymore.
history in the making, too. This wasn't just another show.
So this kid,
Oh.
just, I loved it because this is him seeing his dad actually play a show for the first time. Like, he was at some of the other stuff, but they had to, like, leave early. So this is the first time and that's his dad right here, James.
That's his dad. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So it was one of my favorite shots. And I'm friends with all their families and everything now, so they really liked that shot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that's a good shot.
So this is Josiah. We call him Josie. He's actually on retainer with One Republic as well as their guitar tech. So he actually had to jump off the tour a little bit and go do some
That's a
stuff
good
with One
shot.
Republic. Spencer getting his hair pulled.
I was in a band called Two Republic. Fair Oaks Dave asked, what's the name of the band again?
Under Oath.
Under Oath.
And Spencer flying a
He's
little
jumping.
bit here. Being hairy. So this is actually my pastor stage diving. It was fun. It's my buddy Charlie.
Dude, I wouldn't stage dive for all the cows.
This was
and
the first time that
kittens.
he ever stage dove. And he ended up being dropped.
Oh! See, that's why I wouldn't do it.
I mean, that's a big gap between the stage and the crowd, so.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that's just, come on. I like that shot. I like that shot.
The crowd shot. And also with some of these, like, you probably can't even tell watching at home, but as I'm looking at some of these, I'm going, that's a little bit soft. That's a little bit soft. This one I turned upside down because right side up you could barely see him in the frame, but I like it. So. And then here's the.
There's the shot.
That's the shot I ended up going with because all their expressions are.
And see, this is the thing. Where do you get a shot from on stage? Nobody gets that.
Well, and I told them before the show. I didn't even ask. I was like, hey, at the end of the set, everybody go out to the front of the stage, turn around. I'm going to get a shot of you guys with the crowd in the background. Made sure that they knew to do it.
And they did. That's an
would've just
awesome
run off
shot.
stage.
Bob from Boston. Cheers, Brad. Good luck.
Thanks, Bob.
We'll see you at Martin's.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks to you, Brad.
Very
Thanks
welcome.
to you guys. For those of you who are going to be catching my seminar tour, you'll see me and Brad again. We'll be in next month. We're in Orlando.
It's hilarious because
And
I
Fort
literally
Lauderdale.
I'm leaving Florida next Saturday, and then like a week and a just a little bit over a week later, I fly to Orlando for a seminar.
And then Fort Lauderdale.
And then Fort Lauderdale.
A couple days later. So, hey, go to Kelby One Live and come see me and the Brad. Ivan Bowden says, wishing you well, Brad. I know that you'll do great.
I'm not laughing at Ivan. I'm laughing at the next one. Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate it.
And best moment of Brad on the grid, eating a taco in bed with Adam Elmakais. That was a great one. Thanks, Jen. Thanks to all our crew here. And thanks to Ashley, our entire studio audience, all the way from Australia. You know, I've been to Australia. I didn't see you. I looked all over. Were you not in Sydney? There's another city? Just kidding. Just as Australia joke. Brisbane, you're in Brisbane? It's a nice place, right? You ever been in prison there? Okay. Anyway, hey, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, Brad. Thanks to you guys. We'll catch you next week with our in-studio guest, Mike Cabasi. Here.
Cabasi.
Cabasi's going to be here next week on The Grid. Take care, everybody. Peace.